Life, as the Stoics teach us, is not about accumulating more possessions, more status, more distractions. Instead, it's about refining, simplifying, and focusing on what truly matters. The Stoic philosophers, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, offer timeless wisdom on how to live a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. But to achieve this, we must first identify and eliminate the things that hold us back. These are the silent thieves of our time, energy, and happiness. Today, we'll explore 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by the principles of Stoic philosophy. These are not grand gestures or dramatic changes, but subtle, intentional shifts that can transform the way you think, feel, and live. Let's begin with the first thing you should silently eliminate from your life, according to Stoic philosophy: the need for external validation. In a world that constantly measures success by likes, followers, and applause, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others. But the Stoics remind us that true fulfillment comes from within. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal journal, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This profound observation strikes at the heart of a universal human struggle. Why do we so often prioritize the opinions of others over our own sense of self-worth? And more importantly, how can we break free from this cycle? Let's explore this deeply, guided by the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. The illusion of external validation. External validation is the approval, recognition, or praise we seek from others. It's the desire to be liked, admired, or accepted. On the surface, this seems harmless, even natural. After all, humans are social creatures. We crave connection and belonging. But the Stoics warn us that when we rely too heavily on external validation, we give away our power. We become like a ship tossed by the waves, constantly seeking direction from outside forces. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was born a slave, taught that if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, the pursuit of external validation often leads us away from our true selves. We start making decisions based on what others might think, rather than what aligns with our values and purpose. We become actors on a stage, performing for an audience that may not even care. The truth is, no amount of external validation can fill the void within. It's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour, it will never be enough. The Stoics believed that the only reliable source of fulfillment is internal, living in alignment with your principles and virtues. The cost of seeking approval. The need for external validation comes at a cost. It drains our energy, distracts us from our goals, and leaves us vulnerable to the whims of others. Imagine this scenario. You post a photo on social media. You wait anxiously for likes and comments. When they come, you feel a temporary high. But when they don't, you feel a pang of disappointment. Your mood fluctuates based on the reactions of others. This is a modern example. But the Stoics recognized this pattern centuries ago. Seneca, the Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." When we seek external validation, we give others the power to hurt us. We become slaves to their opinions, even if those opinions are fleeting or irrelevant. The Stoics believed that this is a form of self-imposed suffering. Moreover, the pursuit of approval often leads us to compromise our values. We might say yes when we want to say no, stay silent when we want to speak up, or conform when we want to stand out. Over time, this erodes our sense of self and leaves us feeling empty. The Stoic solution: cultivate inner validation. So, how do we break free from the need for external validation? The Stoics offer a simple but profound solution: cultivate inner validation. Inner validation means finding worth and approval within yourself. It means living according to your principles, regardless of what others think. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Here's how you can start cultivating inner validation inspired by Stoic principles. Define your values. Begin by clarifying your values. What matters most to you? Is it honesty, kindness, courage, or something else? Write these values down and reflect on them daily. When you make decisions based on your values, rather than the opinions of others, you build a strong foundation of self-worth. 2. Practice self-awareness. Pay attention to when and why you seek external validation. Is it when you're feeling insecure or when you're comparing yourself to others? By becoming aware of these triggers, you can interrupt the cycle and choose a different response. 3. Embrace discomfort. Seeking external validation often stems from a fear of rejection or criticism. The Stoics believed that discomfort is a necessary part of growth. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Practice doing things that scare you, like speaking your mind or pursuing a passion, even if others might disapprove. 4. Focus on effort, not outcomes. The Stoics emphasized the importance of focusing on what you can control, your actions and efforts. Let go of the outcomes, which are often influenced by external factors. When you focus on doing your best, you no longer need validation from others to feel successful. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I live in alignment with my values today? Did I seek approval from others, or did I act with integrity? This practice helps you stay grounded and true to yourself. The freedom of letting go. When you silently eliminate the need for external validation, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the pressure to conform or please others. You become the captain of your own ship, steering your life with purpose and clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Action over words, virtue over approval, inner peace over external praise. Imagine living a life where your sense of self-worth is unshakable, where you make decisions based on what's right, not what's popular, where you pursue your passions without fear of judgment. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of authenticity, resilience, and inner peace. The need for external validation is a silent thief, stealing our time, energy, and happiness. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can reclaim our power and live with greater purpose. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Choose to react with self-respect, integrity, and inner strength. In our exploration of the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we now turn to the second obstacle, the fear of failure. Failure is a universal experience, yet it's one of the most misunderstood and feared aspects of life. For many, the mere thought of failing can be paralyzing. It keeps us from taking risks, pursuing dreams, and stepping outside our comfort zones. But the Stoics offer a radically different perspective. They saw failure not as something to be feared, but as an essential part of growth. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become one of history's greatest teachers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In this section, we'll dive deep into the Stoic approach to failure. We'll explore why we fear it, how it holds us back, and how we can reframe it as a powerful tool for growth. Let's begin. Why we fear. Failure. To understand how to overcome the fear of failure, we must first understand why it exists. At its core, the fear of failure is rooted in our desire for control and certainty. We want to know that our efforts will lead to success. and we dread the uncertainty of what might happen if they don't. This fear is often amplified by societal pressures. From a young age, we're taught that failure is something to be ashamed of. We're rewarded for getting the right answers, winning the game, or achieving the highest grades. Failure, on the other hand, is often met with criticism, disappointment, or even ridicule. But the Stoics challenge this mindset. They remind us that failure is not only inevitable but also necessary. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." In other words, failure is not the enemy, it's the teacher. It's through failure that we learn, grow, and become stronger. Yet so many of us allow the fear of failure to hold us back from even trying. The cost of letting fear win. When we let the fear of failure dictate our actions, we pay a steep price. We play it safe, avoiding risks and staying within our comfort zones. We settle for mediocrity instead of striving for greatness. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reflected on this in his personal journal. "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." His words are a powerful reminder of life's brevity. If we let fear hold us back, we risk reaching the end of our lives with regrets, wondering what could have been if only we had dared to try. The fear of failure also robs us of resilience. When we avoid failure, we miss out on the opportunity to build mental toughness and adaptability. The Stoics believed that adversity is the forge in which character is shaped. Without failure, we remain untested and unprepared for life's challenges. The Stoic perspective on failure. The Stoics offer a refreshingly practical perspective on failure. They saw it not as a reflection of our worth, but as a natural part of the human experience. Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly. He understood that mastery and success require trial and error. Every failure is a step on the path to greatness. Marcus Aurelius echoed this sentiment, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure is not a roadblock, it's the road itself. It's through overcoming obstacles that we achieve our goals. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control. We can't control the outcome of our efforts, but we can control our attitude and actions. By shifting our focus from results to effort, we free ourselves from the fear of failure. How to overcome the fear of failure? So how can we apply Stoic wisdom to overcome the fear of failure? Here are 5 practical steps, inspired by Stoic philosophy. 1. Reframe failure as feedback. The Stoics believed that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, view it as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I improve? This shift in perspective transforms failure from a source of fear to a tool for growth. 2. Embrace the process. Focus on the process, not the outcome. The Stoics taught that true fulfillment comes from doing your best, regardless of the results. When you pour your energy into the effort itself, you detach from the fear of failure and find joy in the journey. 3. Practice premeditation. Malorum. This is a Stoic exercise called premeditation malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It involves imagining the worst-case scenario and preparing yourself mentally to face it. By confronting your fears head-on, you reduce their power over you. For example, if you're afraid of failing at a new venture, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? How would I handle it? This exercise builds resilience and reduces anxiety. 4. Cultivate courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. The Stoics believed that courage is a virtue that can be cultivated through practice. Start small by taking calculated risks and gradually build your confidence. Remember, every great achievement began with a single step into the unknown. 5. Reflect on role models. Look to the lives of those who have overcome failure to achieve greatness. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling faced numerous rejections before publishing Harry Potter. The Stoics themselves, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, all faced significant challenges and setbacks. Their lives remind us that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone to success. The freedom of embracing failure. When you silently eliminate the fear of failure, you unlock a world of possibilities. You become willing to take risks, pursue your passions, and embrace the unknown. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks." Failure is one of those attacks, but it's also an opportunity to practice resilience and adaptability. Imagine living a life where failure no longer holds you back, where you approach challenges with curiosity and courage, knowing that every setback is a chance to learn and grow. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. The fear of failure is a silent barrier, keeping us from reaching our full potential. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can reframe failure as a teacher and a stepping stone to greatness. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Seneca. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Prepare yourself to face failure with courage and resilience, and you'll find that opportunities around. In our journey through the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we now arrive at the third obstacle, the desire for control over everything. This desire is deeply ingrained in us. We want to control our circumstances, our relationships, our futures, even the weather. We crave certainty and predictability, and we feel anxious when life doesn't go according to plan. But the Stoics offer a profound truth. Much of what happens in life is beyond our control. Trying to control the uncontrollable is not only futile, but also a source of immense stress and frustration. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who taught the importance of focusing on what we can control, said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing." In this section, we'll explore why the desire for control is so pervasive, how it harms us, and how we can let go of it to find peace and freedom. Let's begin. Why we crave control. The desire for control is rooted in our instinct for survival. From an evolutionary perspective, control meant safety. If our ancestors could predict and influence their environment, they were more likely to survive and thrive. In modern times, this instinct manifests in our need to manage every aspect of our lives. We want to control our careers, our health, our relationships, and even the actions of others. We believe that if we can just control enough, we can avoid pain, uncertainty, and failure. But the Stoics remind us that this belief is an illusion. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, life is inherently unpredictable. No matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be factors beyond our control. The sooner we accept this, the sooner we can free ourselves from the burden of trying to control everything. The cost of seeking control. The desire for control comes at a high cost. It drains our energy, creates unnecessary stress, and strains our relationships. When we try to control everything, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Life rarely goes according to plan, and when it doesn't, we feel frustrated, anxious, or even angry. This constant struggle against reality is exhausting. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from resisting what we cannot change. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic. You're running late for an important meeting, and there's nothing you can do to change the situation. If you focus on what you can't control, the traffic, the time, the other drivers, you'll only increase your stress. But if you focus on what you can control, your reaction, your breathing, your attitude, you can find peace even in the midst of chaos. The desire for control also harms our relationships. When we try to control others, we rob them of their autonomy and create resentment. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from acceptance, not control. The Stoic solution: focus on what you can control. The Stoics offer a simple but powerful solution to the desire for control. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. This principle, known as the dichotomy of control, is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy. It divides the world into two categories: things within our control and things outside our control. Things within our control include our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Things outside our control include the weather, other people's opinions, and the past. By focusing on what we can control, we reclaim our power and reduce our stress. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. Practice acceptance. Acceptance is the antidote to the desire for control. It means acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or resentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together." When you encounter a situation you can't control, remind yourself, this is how it is. Fighting it will only make it worse. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over struggle. 2. Cultivate inner resilience. The Stoics believed that true strength comes from within. By developing mental resilience, you can face life's challenges with calm and clarity. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you focus on your reactions rather than external events, you build a sense of inner stability that no outside force can shake. 3. Let go of outcomes. One of the most liberating aspects of Stoic philosophy is the emphasis on effort over outcomes. You can't control the results of your actions, but you can control your intentions and efforts. Seneca wrote, "It's not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It's because we do not dare that they are difficult." Uduti, when you let go of the need for specific outcomes, you free yourself to take bold, meaningful action. 4. Embrace uncertainty. Life is full of uncertainty, and that's what makes it beautiful. The Stoics believed that embracing uncertainty is key to living a fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." When you accept that change is the only constant, you can approach life with curiosity and openness rather than fear and control. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, what did I try to control today? What was within my power and what was not? This practice helps you become more aware of your tendencies and gradually let go of the need for control. The freedom of letting go. When you silently eliminate the desire for control over everything, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the need to micromanage every detail of your life. Instead, you trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you create a life of peace, purpose, and resilience. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the need to control everything, where you can face uncertainty with calm and confidence, where you can embrace life's unpredictability as an adventure rather than a threat. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner freedom and profound fulfillment. The desire for control over everything is a silent burden, weighing us down with stress and frustration. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can let go of this burden and find peace in the present moment. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Epictetus. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Choose to respond with acceptance, resilience, and grace. As we continue our journey through the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we now turn to the 4th obstacle, the habit of complaining. Complaining is something we all do, often without even realizing it. It's a way to vent frustration, express dissatisfaction, or seek sympathy. But while it may provide temporary relief, complaining ultimately does more harm than good. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that complaining is not only a waste of energy, but also a barrier to growth and peace. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In this section, we'll explore why we complain, how it affects us, and how we can break free from this habit to live a more fulfilling and resilient life. Let's begin. Why we complain. Complaining is a natural human response to discomfort, frustration, or injustice. It's a way to express our emotions and seek validation from others. But while it may feel cathartic in the moment, complaining rarely solves the underlying problem. The Stoics believed that complaining stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of life. We expect things to go our way, and when they don't, we react with resistance and resentment. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who taught the importance of focusing on what we can control, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When we complain, we're essentially saying, this shouldn't be happening." But the Stoics remind us that life is full of challenges and inconveniences. Instead of resisting them, we can choose to accept them and focus on what we can control. The cost of complaining. The habit of complaining comes at a significant cost. It drains our energy, reinforces negativity, and alienates those around us. When we complain, we focus on what's wrong rather than what's right. This negative focus can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, shaping our perception of the world and making us feel more helpless and unhappy. The Stoics believed that complaining also weakens our resilience. Instead of taking action to improve our situation, we dwell on the problem and amplify our suffering. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." For example, imagine you're stuck in a long line at the grocery store. You could spend that time complaining about the wait, or you could use it as an opportunity to practice patience and mindfulness. The situation itself hasn't changed, but your reaction determines whether it becomes a source of stress or a moment of growth. Complaining also affects our relationships. Constant negativity can wear down even the most patient listeners, creating distance and resentment. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from acceptance and understanding, not criticism and blame. The Stoic solution: replace complaining with action. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to complaining. Replace it with action. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, focus on what you can do to make it better. This shift in mindset is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's about taking responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, rather than blaming external circumstances. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to complaining. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your attention from what's lacking to what's abundant. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." By starting each day with gratitude, you set a positive tone that makes complaining less appealing. 2. Focus on solutions. When faced with a problem, ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? The Stoics believed that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue and resilience. Epictetus taught, circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. By focusing on solutions rather than complaints, you demonstrate strength and resourcefulness. 3. Embrace acceptance. Acceptance is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It means acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or resentment. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." When you accept what you cannot change, you free yourself from the burden of complaining and open yourself to peace and clarity. 4. Cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. When you're mindful, you're less likely to get caught up in negative thoughts and complaints. The Stoics believed that mindfulness is key to living a virtuous life. By staying present, you can respond to challenges with calm and intention rather than reacting with frustration and blame. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I complain today? What triggered my complaints and how could I have responded differently? This practice helps you become more aware of your habits and gradually replace complaining with more constructive behaviors. The freedom of letting go. When you silently eliminate the habit of complaining, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the need to vent your frustrations or seek validation from others. Instead, you take responsibility for your thoughts and actions, creating a life of purpose and resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By replacing complaints with gratitude, solutions, and acceptance, you cultivate a mindset of positivism and empowerment. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the need to complain, where you can face challenges with calm and confidence, knowing that you have the power to choose your response. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner peace and profound fulfillment. The habit of complaining is a silent drain on our energy and happiness. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can break free from this habit and live with greater purpose and resilience. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Epictetus. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Choose to respond with gratitude, action, and acceptance. As we continue our exploration of the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we now turn to the 5th obstacle, the pursuit of perfection. Perfection is an ideal that many of us strive for. We want to be the perfect employee, the perfect partner, the perfect parent. We want our work to be flawless, our homes to be immaculate, and our lives to be free of mistakes. But the Stoics remind us that perfection is an illusion. It's a standard that can never be met, and the pursuit of it often leads to frustration, anxiety, and burnout. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse." This stark reminder of our mortality underscores the futility of chasing perfection. Life is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect, and that's what makes it beautiful. In this section, we'll explore why we chase perfection, how it harms us, and how we can let go of this impossible standard to live a more fulfilling and authentic life. Let's begin. Why we chase perfection. The pursuit of perfection is deeply rooted in our desire for control and validation. We believe that if we can just be perfect, we'll be loved, admired, and successful. This belief is often reinforced by societal pressures. From a young age, we're taught that success is measured by achievements, accolades, and appearances. We're rewarded for getting the highest grades, winning the most awards, and presenting the most polished versions of ourselves. But the Stoics challenge this mindset. They remind us that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements, but from internal virtues. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who taught the importance of focusing on what we can control, said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Perfection, in other words, is not a destination, it's a mirage. The more we chase it, the further it recedes, leaving us exhausted and unfulfilled. The cost of chasing perfection. The pursuit of perfection comes at a high cost. It drains our energy, creates unnecessary stress, and robs us of joy. When we strive for perfection, we set ourselves up for disappointment. No matter how hard we work, there will always be room for improvement. This constant sense of inadequacy can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from unrealistic expectations. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." For example, imagine you're working on a project. You spend hours perfecting every detail, only to realize that you've missed the deadline. In your quest for perfection, you've sacrificed timeliness and balance. The Stoics would argue that it's better to complete the project to the best of your ability and move on, rather than obsessing over unattainable standards. The pursuit of perfection also harms our relationships. When we hold ourselves to impossible standards, we often extend those standards to others, creating tension and resentment. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from acceptance, not judgment. The Stoic solution: embrace imperfection. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to the pursuit of perfection. Embrace imperfection. Instead of striving for an unattainable ideal, focus on progress, effort, and virtue. This shift in mindset is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's about accepting life as it is, rather than resisting it. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. Focus on effort, not outcomes. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes from doing your best, regardless of the results. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." When you focus on effort rather than outcomes, you free yourself from the pressure of perfection. You can take pride in your work, knowing that you've given it your all, even if it's not flawless. 2. Practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when you fall short of your goals. The Stoics believed that self-compassion is key to resilience and growth. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve?" This approach fosters growth and self-acceptance. 3. Embrace the process. Life is a journey, not a destination. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes from embracing the process, rather than fixating on the end result. Seneca wrote, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you focus on the process, you find joy in the present moment, rather than constantly striving for an unattainable future. 4. Cultivate humility. Humility is the recognition that we are all imperfect and fallible. The Stoics believed that humility is key to wisdom and growth. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." When you embrace humility, you free yourself from the need to be perfect and open yourself to learning and growth. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I strive for perfection today? How did it affect me, and how could I have approached things differently? This practice helps you become more aware of your tendencies and gradually let go of the need for perfection. The freedom of letting go: when you silently eliminate the pursuit of perfection, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the need to meet impossible standards or present a flawless image. Instead, you embrace your imperfections and find joy in the process of growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By replacing the pursuit of perfection with a focus on effort, self-compassion, and humility, you cultivate a mindset of resilience and authenticity. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the need to be perfect, where you can take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them, where you can embrace life's messiness and unpredictability as part of the journey. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner peace and profound fulfillment. The pursuit of perfection is a silent burden, weighing us down with stress and frustration. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can let go of this burden and live with greater authenticity and joy. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Seneca. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Choose to spend your time on what truly matters, growth, connection, and purpose, rather than chasing an unattainable ideal. In the next section, we'll explore the sixth thing you should silently eliminate from your life: the attachment to material possessions. In a world that often equates success with wealth and material abundance, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that more is better. We accumulate possessions, chase the latest trends, and measure our worth by what we own. But the Stoics offer a radically different perspective. They believe that true wealth is not measured by what we have, but by what we can live without. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who lived a simple life with few possessions, taught, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In this section, we'll explore why we become attached to material possessions, how this attachment harms us, and how we can cultivate a mindset of simplicity and contentment. Let's begin. Why we become attached to material possessions. Our attachment to material possessions is rooted in a combination of societal conditioning, emotional needs, and evolutionary instincts. From a young age, we're taught that success is measured by what we own. The size of our homes, the brand of our clothes, the model of our cars. Advertisements and social media reinforce this message, creating a culture of consumerism that equates happiness with accumulation. On a deeper level, material possessions often serve as a substitute for emotional fulfillment. We buy things to fill a void, to boost our self-esteem, or to project an image of success. The Stoics, however, saw through this illusion. They believed that material possessions are external and fleeting, and that true fulfillment comes from within. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." By understanding why we become attached to material possessions, we can begin to break free from this cycle and focus on what truly matters. The cost of attachment to material possessions. The attachment to material possessions comes at a significant cost. It drains our resources, creates unnecessary stress, and distracts us from what truly matters. When we focus on accumulating possessions, we often neglect more meaningful pursuits, relationships, personal growth, and experiences. We trade our time and energy for things that ultimately fail to bring lasting happiness. The Stoics believed that this attachment also creates a sense of dependency. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." For example, imagine you've just bought the latest smartphone. At first, it brings a sense of excitement and satisfaction, but over time, the novelty wears off and you find yourself craving the next upgrade. This cycle of desire and dissatisfaction is endless, leaving you perpetually unfulfilled. The attachment to material possessions also harms our relationships. When we prioritize things over people, we create distance and resentment. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from shared experiences and mutual understanding, not material wealth. The Stoic solution: cultivate simplicity and contentment. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to the attachment to material possessions. Cultivate simplicity and contentment. Instead of chasing external wealth, focus on internal virtues and the things that truly matter. This shift in mindset is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's about finding fulfillment within yourself rather than relying on external possessions. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. Practice minimalism. Minimalism is the practice of living with less, so you can focus on what truly matters. The Stoics believed that simplicity is key to freedom and peace. Epictetus taught, freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. By reducing your possessions to the essentials, you create space for what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. 2. Focus on experiences, not things. Experiences, not possessions, are the true source of happiness. The Stoics believed that memories and relationships are far more valuable than material wealth. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." When you invest in experiences, travel, learning, time with loved ones, you create lasting memories that enrich your life. 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to materialism. When you focus on what you already have, rather than what you lack, you cultivate a sense of contentment and abundance. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." By practicing gratitude daily, you shift your focus from external possessions to internal fulfillment. 4. Embrace impermanence. The Stoics believed that everything in life is temporary, including material possessions. By embracing this truth, you can let go of your attachment and find peace in the present moment. Epictetus taught, "Some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing." When you accept that possessions are external and fleeting, you free yourself from their hold. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I prioritize material possessions today? How did it affect me, and how could I have approached things differently? This practice helps you become more aware of your tendencies and gradually let go of your attachment. The freedom of letting go. When you silently eliminate the attachment to material possessions, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the need to accumulate or impress. Instead, you find joy in simplicity and contentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By replacing the pursuit of material wealth with a focus on internal virtues, you cultivate a mindset of resilience and fulfillment. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the need to own the latest trends or impress others with your possessions. Where you can find joy in the simple things, a walk in nature, a meaningful conversation, a moment of quiet reflection. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner peace and profound fulfillment. The attachment to material possessions is a silent burden, weighing us down with stress and dissatisfaction. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can let go of this burden and live with greater simplicity and contentment. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Seneca, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Choose to focus on what truly matters, relationships, experiences, and personal growth, rather than chasing external wealth. As we continue our journey through the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we now turn to the 8th obstacle, the tendency to hold grudges. Grudges are like emotional anchors, weighing us down with anger, resentment, and bitterness. They keep us tethered to the past, preventing us from moving forward and finding peace. The Stoics understood the destructive power of grudges. They believed that holding on to anger and resentment harms us far more than it harms the person who wronged us. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." In this section, we'll explore why we hold grudges, how they affect us, and how we can let go of them to live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Let's begin. Why we hold grudges. Holding grudges is a natural human response to being hurt or wronged. It's a way to protect ourselves from future harm and to assert our sense of justice. When someone hurts us, we often feel a need to hold on to that pain as a form of self-protection. We think that by remembering the wrong, we can prevent it from happening again. But the Stoics remind us that this mindset is ultimately self-defeating. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who taught the importance of focusing on what we can control, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we hold grudges, we're essentially allowing the actions of others to control our emotions and well-being. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from letting go of this control and focusing on our own thoughts and actions. The cost of holding grudges. The tendency to hold grudges comes at a significant cost. It drains our energy, creates unnecessary stress, and harms our relationships. When we hold on to anger and resentment, we carry a heavy emotional burden. This burden can manifest as stress, anxiety, and even physical health issues. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from resisting what we cannot change. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." For example, imagine you've been wronged by a colleague. You hold on to that grudge, replaying the incident in your mind and plotting ways to get even. In doing so, you've allowed that person to occupy your thoughts and emotions, creating a cycle of negativity that harms you far more than it harms them. Holding grudges also harms our relationships. When we refuse to forgive, we create distance and resentment. The Stoics believed that true connection comes from acceptance and understanding, not from holding on to past wrongs. The Stoic solution: cultivate forgiveness and letting go. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to holding grudges. Cultivate forgiveness and letting go. Instead of focusing on past wrongs, focus on your own thoughts and actions. This shift in mindset is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's about prioritizing inner peace over external justice. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. 1. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is the practice of letting go of anger and resentment. The Stoics believed that forgiveness is key to inner peace and freedom. Seneca wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." By forgiving others, you free yourself from the emotional burden of grudges and create space for peace and understanding. 2. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from trying to control what we cannot. When you hold a grudge, you're essentially trying to control the past, something that is beyond your power. Epictetus taught, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. And by focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you free yourself from the burden of grudges. 3. Embrace the present moment. Holding grudges keeps us tethered to the past, preventing us from fully experiencing the present. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from living in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius reflected, The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. When you let go of past wrongs, you create space for present moment awareness and joy. 4. Cultivate empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. The Stoics believed that empathy is key to forgiveness and connection. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." And when you cultivate empathy, you can see the situation from the other person's perspective, making it easier to let go of grudges. 5. Reflect daily. End each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I hold on to any grudges today? How did it affect me, and how could I have approached things differently? This practice helps you become more aware of your tendencies and gradually let go of grudges. The freedom of letting go. When you silently eliminate the tendency to hold grudges, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the weight of anger and resentment. Instead, you find joy in the present moment and peace in your relationships. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By replacing grudges with forgiveness, empathy, and present moment awareness, you cultivate a mindset of peace and fulfillment. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the need to hold on to past wrongs, where you can approach relationships with openness and understanding rather than anger and resentment, where you can find peace in the present moment, free from the burden of grudges. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner peace and profound fulfillment. The tendency to hold grudges is a silent burden, weighing us down with anger and resentment. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can let go of this burden and live with greater peace and understanding. As you reflect on this lesson, remember the words of Seneca. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Choose to react with forgiveness, empathy, and present moment awareness, rather than holding on to past wrongs. In the next section, we'll explore the 9th thing you should silently eliminate from your life: the distraction of time-wasting activities. As we reach the final chapter of our journey through the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by Stoic philosophy, we arrive at the 10th and perhaps most profound obstacle: the fear of death. Death is the great equalizer, the one certainty in life that unites us all. Yet for many, it is also the source of deep-seated fear and anxiety. We avoid thinking about it, talking about it, or confronting its inevitability. But the Stoics offer a radically different perspective. They believe that the fear of death is not only unnecessary, but also a barrier to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." In this final section, we'll explore why we fear death, how this fear affects us, and how we can confront it to live with greater courage, purpose, and peace. Let's begin. Why we fear death. The fear of death is deeply rooted in our instinct for survival. From an evolutionary perspective, this fear served a practical purpose. It kept our ancestors alert to danger and motivated to survive. But in modern times, this instinct often manifests as an existential dread. We fear the unknown, the loss of control, and the idea of ceasing to exist. This fear is amplified by societal taboos around death. We rarely talk about it openly, and when we do, it's often shrouded in euphemisms and avoidance. The Stoics, however, saw death as a natural and inevitable part of life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back." By understanding why we fear death, we can begin to confront it, and in doing so, free ourselves from its grip. The cost of fearing death. The fear of death comes at a significant cost. It drains our energy, creates unnecessary anxiety, and prevents us from fully living. When we fear death, we often live in a state of constant worry. We become preoccupied with what might happen in the future rather than focusing on the present moment. This preoccupation robs us of the joy and beauty of life. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from resisting the natural order of things. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." For example, imagine you're constantly worried about your health, fearing that every ache or pain could be a sign of something serious. This fear not only creates unnecessary stress, but also prevents you from enjoying the life you have. The Stoics would argue that this is a form of self-imposed suffering driven by an irrational fear of death. The fear of death also limits our potential. When we are afraid to take risks or pursue our passions because we fear failure or the unknown, we miss out on opportunities for growth and fulfillment. The Stoics believed that true courage comes from confronting our fears, not avoiding them. The Stoic solution: confront death to embrace life. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to the fear of death. Confront it to embrace life. Instead of avoiding thoughts of death, they encourage us to reflect on it regularly. This practice, known as memento mori, remember that you must die, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. By confronting death, we gain a deeper appreciation for life and a clearer sense of what truly matters. Here's how you can apply this principle in your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. 1. Practice memento mori. Memento mori is the practice of reflecting on your mortality. The Stoics believed that this practice helps us live with greater purpose and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." By reminding yourself that life is finite, you can focus on what truly matters and let go of trivial concerns. 2. Focus on the present moment. The Stoics believe that true peace comes from living in the present moment. When we focus on the here and now, we free ourselves from the anxiety of an uncertain future. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By focusing on the present, you can approach life with calm and clarity rather than fear and worry. 3. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to fear. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your attention from what you might lose to what you have. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." By practicing gratitude daily, you cultivate a sense of abundance and appreciation for the life you have. 4. Embrace impermanence. The Stoics believed that everything in life is temporary, including life itself. By embracing this truth, you can let go of the fear of death and find peace in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." When you accept that change is the only constant, you can approach life with curiosity and openness rather than fear and resistance. 5. Reflect daily, end each day with a Stoic practice called evening reflection. Ask yourself, did I live fully today? Did I let the fear of death hold me back? Or did I embrace life with courage and gratitude? This practice helps you become more aware of your tendencies and gradually let go of the fear of death. The freedom of embracing life. When you silently eliminate the fear of death, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You no longer feel the need to avoid thoughts of mortality or cling to life out of fear. Instead, you find joy in the present moment and purpose in the time you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By replacing the fear of death with a focus on gratitude, presence, and purpose, you cultivate a mindset of courage and fulfillment. Imagine living a life where you no longer fear death. where you can approach each day with clarity and intention, knowing that your time is finite and precious. Where you can take risks, pursue your passions, and embrace the beauty of life, free from the shadow of fear. This is the life the Stoics envisioned, a life of inner peace and profound fulfillment. The fear of death is a silent burden, weighing us down with anxiety and limiting our potential. But by embracing the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we can confront this fear and live with greater courage, purpose, and peace. As you reflect on this final lesson, remember the words of Seneca. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Choose to spend your time on what truly matters, growth, connection, and purpose, rather than wasting it on fear and avoidance. And with that, we've reached the end of our journey through the 10 things you should silently eliminate from your life, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. From the need for external validation to the fear of death, we've explored how these silent burdens hold us back and how we can let them go to live with greater purpose, resilience, and peace. The Stoics remind us that life is not about perfection or control, but about growth, acceptance, and living in alignment with our values. By silently eliminating these 10 obstacles, we create space for what truly matters: meaningful relationships, personal growth, and a deep sense of fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found value in these lessons, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how you can apply them in your own life. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's the small, intentional steps we take each day that lead to transformation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on Stoic philosophy, personal growth, and living a life of purpose. Your support means the world and helps spread these timeless teachings to others who may need them. Until next time, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Thank you for watching, and may you live a life of courage, wisdom, and peace.